How did you find out you were getting cheated on? The guy shot me a message on social media, said he was sorry and didn't know she was in a relationship. I bumped into him at a bar years later and bought him a drink. Stories like this are so wholesome. This is exactly what happened to me. Got a message from the other person letting me know what had happened, and that my, now ex, had told them we were broken up. When they found out the truth, they immediately ended it and let me know. My ex-wife had that part covered. Had the affair with a guy in a city 45 minutes away and snuck onto his social media accounts and blocked me so we'd never accidentally cross paths. Typical dude isn't gonna look at that stuff. Maybe a good idea to look at that list sometimes. Edit, for everyone curious about how I caught her. She thought out a lot of it, excuses, logistics, and she's a fantastic liar, but she screwed up on little things and she's disorganized with her stuff in general, like kind of a slob. There was a bag she took to a friend's house that she never unpacked. It was actually sitting open in the closet and I looked down in it while hanging something up and there was a sex toy plainly visible. I started snooping after that and found some other signs. Of course I started going through her Facebook feed from my account and I noticed a few times she tagged someone in a post, but the name wasn't a link and he didn't show up when I searched him. She admitted that she blocked me from his account after I was confronting her about everything. I had basically deleted Facebook years earlier, scrubbed some personal info and hadn't been on it in years, but it still had my picture and said I was married to her, so she didn't try messing with it on my end. Figured the odds that I would snoop were low and she would have been right if she hadn't screwed up. She really wanted to make sure the other guy didn't come across my profile considering how many mutual friends the wife and I had. Her roommates called and asked me to meet them for lunch, said it was important. I met them and they told me she had been cheating on me with her ex the entire time I was deployed. They showed me pictures, back when you had to get pictures developed. They said I was a good man and I didn't deserve to be treated like that. They had collected my things that morning when she left for work and gave them to me. I drove to her work, walked up to her, showed her the pictures and demanded the ring back. She gave it to me and I left. Later she called me yelling about me conspiring with her roommates, basically trying to make it my fault. She asked what I was doing meeting with them. I said, "It's called respect and closure and it sounds like this." I unplugged the phone, landline, waited an hour, plugged in the phone and called the phone company. Said I needed to change my number and never heard from her again. I took it really rough and am thankful for her roommates and the friends that got me through probably the darkest time of my life. Roommates are MVP. Marry the roommates instead, I mean shit. I can't imagine the hell those roommates must have went through after they did that. That ex sounds like the kind of person who would try to get back at them for that. Open up the tablet to play with it, found an open email that I had never seen before, read the messages between them. I've never been the same since. Divorced now. We were together for 30 years. Edit, I am overwhelmed by all of your love and kindness. Thank you. Love back to all of you. Yes, I tried and wanted to keep my marriage, but he continued to lie and betray me so that I was left with no choice but to divorce. Do you know what helped me so much? My mom, without asking or anything, came over and filled my freezer with crock-pot meals and casseroles. I was so depressed and I had 2 children to care for, and dinner was always so easy just to pop in and be done with. She did that for about a year. Forever grateful for her thoughtfulness and generosity. Edit 2. Together 30 years, not married 30. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Married 24 years. We started dating at 15, married at 21. I didn't have children until my 30s. I was 45 when we divorced. My children were 8 and 10. Thank you all for the stories and praise for my mom. I hope your recovery is faster than mine was. Ouch. My ex left her email logged on my computer. First dozen were Craigslist personals. Found out she got spit roasted in New Orleans by 2 construction workers. Cajun style. Deleted. He pocket dialed me while bragging about it to a coworker. The universe really had my back on that one. Same, first time, but dialed me while a hallmate was asking him about it. I was dumb enough to stick around for the second and third times. Young and dumb, I guess. Sometimes we receive gifts. Gifts that at the time feel cruel. We need time from them to realize the blessing they are. I didn't know at the time we broke up, for sure, but she was engaged a week after we broke up. I can't even figure out how that worked, exactly. We broke up before I found out too. In my head I thought the 6-year-long relationship just ran its course and I was even happy. I felt I was gaining a true lifelong friend. 2 weeks later I get a call from the other woman. She flew him out across the country to meet her parents. He gets there and decides he doesn't want to date her. Out of spite, she calls me and tells me about their 3-year-long affair. I still need a therapist to unpack that shit. Edit, really didn't expect so much support on this comment. Truly appreciate the validation and kindness everyone has shown. 3-year-long affair? How did he manage to pull it off for 3 years? How on earth do people cheat? This just sucks. Can't even begin to imagine what you're going through or questions you must have. Same here. Found out through friends. She blocked me and everyone in town via social media but missed a few after she left. That she posted was engaged like 2 weeks later. And in the photo she posted I could tell by her lack of hair dye it had been taken 3 to 4 months prior around the time she claimed she went to visit some family out of state. Meanwhile she had been living with me, and going on a lot of work trips, girls' weekend, etc. Jokes on her through. Last I heard she's on engagement number 3. I'm happily married to the best friend I've ever had, with our own home and dog. Cheaters and liars aren't worth your time. Phone bill. She was texting some random number 600 times a month. I thought I recognized the number and when I put it in my phone it was a buddy of mine. That ain't your buddy, pal. This is actually how it started for me. I was looking at revising our phone plan to one with less data and happened to notice a massive amount of texts on her line. Dug into the records and found it was to a coworker. About 48 hours later I got home from work, night shift, and she wasn't home. Took a random guess and drove to their office at 4 a.m. For some reason, common ground made sense. Found them both in the parking lot. That was smart of you, though. Was using her phone for GPS while we were on a road trip because mine had issues when she got a text from the guy we had been in marriage counseling about who she says she hasn't talked to him for months about seeing her tomorrow. 24 years of being together, 23 years married, 2 kids, a house. All down the fucking drain and ruined my life for a guy who could pass for a real life Ned Flanders. Stupid sexy Flanders, I'm sorry, I had to. Nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all. Hi diddly man ho. When she left me cause she got pregnant, and thought it was a different guy's. Turns out I was one of 3 possible dads, couple years later and a few paternity tests and turns out it was mine. Congratulations? I know it sounds weird and cruel but it being yours is maybe the worst part. Whatever the result, it sucks for the child. She stopped giving me hugs. Sometimes you just know. Fuck guys, thanks for all the love. Together for about 8 years, married for only 3. Crazy story but we were living in an abusive scenario with another person and she was what was keeping me sane. It was rough to realize she was cheating on me with this guy. I feel better now. Definitely learned over time that questioning yourself and spending time wondering what you could have done different is essentially pointless. This is the saddest one so far. Honestly fuck this whole thread, but it's an awful train wreck I couldn't stop reading. But this one is where I'm stopping. Wondering if it's you or something you did, racking your brain trying to figure out how to fix it, blaming yourself for things not being the same. It's a unique form of torture. A flirty text from a guy popped up on while we were looking at her phone for a place to eat. He complimented a picture I had just taken of her. She sent it to him while around me. Bold. Also this happened in the Eiffel Tower, only a couple of hours into what was supposed to be 2-week vacation. Dude, I'm second-hand triggered RN. Painfully long 2-week vacation. Painfully long couple days until I could reroute my vacation to be away from her, ended up being a solid solo vacation. Old school, her little sister ratted her out. First serious girlfriend. She was the older sister of my best friend at the time. He introduced us, got us together. 2.5-ish years later he randomly calls me, tells me he overheard her on the phone. He felt terrible about it, but could not tell me. I didn't believe him at first but he was right. I remember at work a few years after we were all swapping cheating ex stories and I told this one and the ladies I worked with were all surprised that a brother would snitch on his sister like that. Without missing a beat the other guy there said the BRO in brothers before hoes doesn't mean biological. Bro code goes beyond blood, and that dude did good. I would call the little sister the opposite of a rat. She's the rat catcher, your ex is the trash rat. My daughter told me. My brother and I both individually discovered our dad was cheating on our mom. We eventually told her. Hugs. My 16 and 17-year-old daughters found out their mom was cheating on me, took screenshots of FB/IG messages and told me. Hugs to you as well. I'm sorry. Same club, 16-year-old daughter. The wife was cheating with another teacher in her high school classroom and he would come by for a quick flirt, plus other stuff, before school, while my daughter was actually sitting there doing homework. The balls on that guy. She gave me screenshots of their texts and a photo of them doing stuff in his car. Poor kid. Married 20 years. The dude was married 30. A man knocked on my door and introduced himself as the husband of a woman that my husband worked with. He was there to tell me that his wife was having an affair with my husband. My husband never came home after that. He got an Airbnb and told me to get a lawyer. We had been together for 24 years. Holy shit, people can be so cruel. I'm so sorry that happened. I hope you're happier now less than 3. I feel like the sting of a 24-year relationship ending with infidelity won't ever go away. That is so awful. Sorry. He hooked up with random girls when he was supposed to be at his mom. One evening at a friend's party, there was a girl who wasn't of our group, a friend of a friend. She went, "Oh, hi. Remember me? It was so fun." Deleted. Did he claim that you guys never had the talk? That makes me want to throw the fuck up. 2 interesting ones from close friends. Friend's neighbor looked into her house from the second floor and saw him fucking the nanny. They are currently in divorce proceedings, though he's still dating the nanny. The more interesting one is a friend was headed to Thanksgiving with her husband when she got a text from a woman saying, "Your husband has been fucking me and several other women," then gave a list of the women. She was aghast, not sure what to do. Then the woman sent pics as evidence. The woman was pissed as he had promised her he would spend Thanksgiving with her instead of his wife/my friend. My friend divorced him. That woman is still such a poss. She would have happily dated him. And was, knowing he had a wife, but told out of jealousy that he spent a holiday with his family instead of her. I really do feel like sleeping with people that are taken and cheating both stem from low self-esteem. Needing something to make them feel better about themselves. Girls think the men want them more than they're so, but they actually just want someone to show them adoration. Fucking the nanny. I'd be more angry that I'd married a cliché. True. How dare you make me a character in a shitty book. The idiot saved her number as my little hoe less than 3. Oh, and the other guy, I found women's sandals in his truck, passenger seat. He said those were his friend's GFs. LOL. Why would your friend drive in the back seat and his GF next to you? I mean, my buddy often let his GF ride shotgun due to being a gentleman. Not that far-fetched. My ex-idiot let his new girl get a hold of his phone and she thought she'd be cute and post a selfie to his Snap story captioned "hacked by my beautiful girlfriend." I just asked. I think that's equally as rough as any of the stories in the comments. Cheating always is. Damn. I came home from work one day and my live-in girlfriend was sitting at her vanity putting on her makeup. I asked what's the occasion? She said I have a date. Oh brutal. The girl messaged me from an anonymous IG account letting me know what happened while I was out of town. Maybe I wouldn't have believed it if she didn't provide specific details, like the type of car I drove that I had let the carless cheater drive while I was gone. Carless cheater is a great insult. When I saw her reflected in his sunglasses in a picture that he texted me. To clarify for those asking/confused, he was supposed to be at one place by himself. He texted a selfie from that place to let me know he was there safely, and I could see her reflection in his sunglasses. It was clear that he was cheating. I did not keep the picture. He now lives with her, maybe even married her, I don't know. Enhance. Just print the damn thing. The other girl was wearing my clothes in front of me. Edit, thanks for all the love, guys. The one part of this entire debacle that was hysterical was that she tried to deny that she was wearing my clothes when I confronted her. Until I pointed out the oil stain on the white shirt she was wearing, which my sister caused when she borrowed said shirt without asking. Plot twist, she and I are friendly now and he's off being miserable somewhere else. Oh fuck that. That's trashy AF. I decided to get a divorce. Dude wouldn't stop accusing me of cheating. After I left, some mutual friends of ours at the time told me he was on dating sites etc. When I went back to the house to grab some of my stuff, another woman had moved in, 2 days after I left. It all started to make sense. Apparently it's true, if they're cheating they will accuse you. I don't know all the details, don't want to. Better off sparing my feelings and not knowing all the details than to be ripped apart inside if I do. Fuck that asshole. It definitely is true that they'll accuse you of cheating if they are. Was cheating on me for 6 months, had been accusing me of cheating for the latter 3. I only found out because his friends told me. He was good at hiding it. Fuck your mutual friends for not saying anything sooner. My friends found out before me and knew they, the cheaters, were going to the movies together. My friends breed me to go see a movie with them so that I could catch them in the act because they knew I wouldn't believe them if they just told me. True friends. Edit, begged, not breed. These are some legit, grade A friends right here. Seriously, I really didn't appreciate them enough. They're not dead, we've just lost touch. Your friends bred you? I feel like this belongs in NSFW Reddit. My neighbor told me that there was an odd car parked in my driveway when the ex was supposed to be at work. I feel like this is the way it would be revealed in my town. My acquaintances and neighbors will ask me, why was the moving van in your driveway on October 6th? Kind of thing. Everyone knows everyone's business here, lol. That can a blessing and a curse at the same time, but at least you find out a lot quicker that way. W neighbor. The other woman knocked on my front door and asked me to take my kid and get out so that the two of them could be together and be happy. I told her she could have him, but they'd have to go because technically I own the house. I then told him he was free to go. He did not go, sadly. She'd been dropped off by her ex who she'd cheated on with my ex-husband. That was quite awkward. Sounds like her was eager to dump her off and for her to be somebody else's problem quite happily. Armchair analysis says he probably led her on to believe she meant more than she did, but in reality she was just a side plaything. Tells her he's gonna live with her any time now, just gotta break it off with his chick first, but it's complicated. He takes too long. She gets the genius idea that she's gonna help. She'll show up, assert herself, and they're gonna live happily ever after as a surprise. But whoops, she never did basic research, or he never told her the woman of the house was the owner. Now she looks like the evil, insert bad word here, she is, and he's due to be homeless because he got involved with someone both evil and stupid. She really thought she'd have a long, happy, fulfilling life with him? I'll never understand how some people can look at someone who cheats on their wife/husband and can so easily abandon their family, and see their dream partner. If you can take my man, you can keep him. I'll thank you for taking out the trash for me. The most recent, he left the messages open on my computer. I kicked him out. Most memorable was when I was working as a nurse's aide in a hospital. He showed up at work and I asked why he was there, wasn't expecting him, so he told me that his friend was upstairs in labor, with his baby, told him to be gone by the time I got off work. WTF? That's a lot of cheaters. There was another, but it was anticlimactic. This is why I've removed myself from the dating pool. I obviously can't pick them. I'm happier now. What even? Oh yeah, just popping by to see my kid being born. No big deal. You wanna do pizza tonight or what? She was sleeping with her boss, in the most cliched excuses. I really think if she'd said to me the passion and love was gone, we could have divorced amicably, because I was miserable too. But when she cleaned out our house and bank account, well, that changed the dynamic just a smidge. Fuck you, Michelle. Michelle sounds like an insufferable cunt. She absolutely was. When he dumped her, she called me. I laughed my ass off, wiping tears of joy with our divorce decree. Me and the other two guys I worked with had it come up in conversation. She told guy A that me and her had broken up, and she told guy B that I gave her a pass while I was on vacation. You think she would have learned? Found out a few years later she did the same thing with a couple guys at the gym she was working at the time. Those two guys showed up at her house to call her out on it. For me, a dude at work said congrats to me when I got in. I was like, what are you talking about? He said he overheard saying she got laid last night and he knew we were seeing each other. I was like, I actually didn't see her last night. Then another girl at work came and told me the same, but without the congrats because she knew I'd been cheated on. When I confronted her about it, all she cared about was who told me. Priorities. Anyway, that relationship was doomed from the start. I ignored a lot of signs, so I blame myself for staying as long as I did. What a weird thing to tell one's coworkers. Some of them never stop and are too stupid to think of a new way around it. I have an ex that gets blasted by a new boyfriend on social media once a year for cheating on him. It's wild. Chlamydia. Ouch. Not the surprise anyone wanted. This happened to me too. I was dating a guy for a few months and I decided I didn't want to pursue the relationship, so I ended things with him. Afterwards, he told me it was fine because he didn't appreciate me giving him chlamydia anyway. I definitely did not have chlamydia, so I guess I dodged a bullet. I never would have known he cheated if I hadn't dumped him that day, and I probably would have gotten chlamydia if I hadn't. Deleted. Went on a solo road trip to CA from NY. My then BF of 5 years was supposed to fly to San Diego when I arrived, then we'd drive home together. Pick him up from the airport. Use his phone to pull up directions for our restaurant reservation. He gets a notification from a social media app he must have forgotten to delete. I ask him about it. He grabs his phone and deletes the app. Says it would hurt me more to read the conversations he'd been having with women, and that I'm obviously going to dump him either way, so he wanted to save himself the embarrassment of getting exposed. I made him call his mom and arrange to have his stuff moved out of our apartment. Told him to find his own way home. Finished the road trip home without him. When I got home it was like he'd never lived there. Exactly how I wanted. Good on his mom for clearing all his crap out. And for not trashing her stuff along the way. That sounds kind of nice. Ha ha. I was pregnant and they were doing the standard tests including STDs, and I tested positive for chlamydia. I was so embarrassed, but glad to have found out, because it turns out that can really mess up a pregnancy. Still took me another year to file for divorce though. Edit. Since this seems to have confused many people somehow, I was married. My husband got caught cheating on me while pregnant. I forgave him. He came clean. I forgave him and he did it a few more times and we got a divorce. I don't know how this implies that I had a kid by another man. Don't wipe properly, did butt stuff, had a false positive. Same, except I was 17 and wasn't married at the time. I was so embarrassed and so heartbroken. Like chlamydia before I even got to explore other people yet. I was mind blown. I was clear during my pregnancy test. Only person I had sex with, unprotected at that, was him. While I was still pregnant, all subsequent sex was protected. Got tested before getting an IUD inserted, and had chlamydia. He denied cheating while I was pregnant, But you don't just randomly spawn chlamydia, man, and that was the only time that I would have been exposed. After 8 years together he told me he wanted a break to figure out if this was what he really wanted. After I said no, it's either work on things or we end it. A few days later he admitted he'd met someone. So basically he asked me to hang around waiting for him while he fucked some other girl for a bit. Good riddance to that one.